Now, remembering that it's real-life humans that use websites, let's do something a bit weird. Let's talk to some people in our audience before we make guesses about how to make a website for them. Wacky, I know, but it's super effective. We're going to use a short version of a process called the Mum Test for this. That's a book by a guy called Robert Fitzpatrick, who's a very clever startup-y type dude who literally wrote the book on how to interview people. We've got another lesson on customer interviews on the site, so I won't go into depth now. Instead, we're just going to ask a handful of people the following simple questions. 1, when was the last time you did something like this? So in our coffee idea, this might be, hey, when was the last time you brought coffee for home? And 2, what specifically was good or bad about that experience? And that's it. On top of those 2 questions, your secret weapon in this process is shutting up and listening. And your absolute best follow-up question you can ask is, that's really interesting. Tell me more. Now, doing this can be quite scary, so I'm going to embarrass myself on camera for you and just call up a friend.
Hello?
Hey, Vic, it's Will. Can I ask you a strange question?
Always, go ahead.
When was the last time you bought coffee for home, for making at home?
I did that yesterday, actually.
Okay, what did you do?
Okay, I went down to Coles to do my weekly shop. And, fun story. I looked on the way past Coles into the nut shop. You know, they always have those funny little nut shops and you wonder how they actually run like as a business, and they had really cheap coffee on the outside for $5.50, so I really annoyingly took a picture of it and then compared it to the price that was in Coles, realised it was cheaper, did my whole Coles shop, and then bought it on the way out, and it was the Lavazzi, the fancy one that begins with L, in a gold packet, already ground, because I use a little mocha maker at home every morning. That's like my coffee ritual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you use a mocha pot at home?
Yes, I do.
Do you use it like every morning?
Yeah, every morning.
Okay, cool. That's kind of all I was asking for. Sorry about the weird question.
Always. No, I like this. This is interesting. You going to get me a coffee? Is that what this is?
Yes, I will totally buy you a coffee at some point next week. I'll give you a call tomorrow morning. We'll figure out a time.
Excellent. Anything else I can help with?
No, that's it. Thanks, Vic.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, that was not as embarrassing as I thought it would be, but at least I learnt that Vic doesn't really care about the brand of coffee and she makes her decision based on price. We've learnt something.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Sam, how's it going?
Very well. How are you?
Good. Can I ask you a weird question?
Go for it.
When was the last time you bought coffee for home?
Never.
Never. You don't buy coffee?
I do not.
Why not?
Fine.
Why not?
I either buy it in places and do it as a social experience, or I work at YBF where they have a coffee machine.
Ah, okay. So you never buy coffee grounds for like a home AeroPress or something?
No.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, bye. So the good thing about that was we found out that idea was a poor idea, if Sam is anything to go by. Once you've had that awkward phone call at least 3 or 4 times, you'll have a better idea about how your audience thinks, which is cool because we want to use their language and style as much as possible. I just called Victoria and she was really nice. Now, I'm not going to give you Vic's contact details because she's a real person and that would be weird. We can, however, say that the last time she bought coffee was yesterday. She's actually a potential customer for this idea, which is really cool. We're also going to jot down some of the other stuff that I learned during the phone conversation. She buys at supermarkets, she's budget focused, she doesn't have a grinder, she uses a mocha pot, all useful information. Then we had Sam, and Sam was completely terrible. For our purposes. We learnt that he never buys coffee at home for any reason. We did, however, learn some useful stuff about that. For example, coffee is a social thing for him. He works somewhere with a coffee machine and is otherwise completely useless to the customer. Unless, of course, we were to pivot a little bit and maybe start to think about selling him coffee for the coffee machine at work. Lastly, we'll just pretend that I interviewed another person because this is a lesson, not a real example.
Yeah!